This Audi S5 has been off the road for a few weeks now, but today we're gonna put this thing back on the road. Previously, we took this engine apart to repair two things. First, the defect rockers and worn camshaft sprockets. This is my sister's and her husband's Audi S5. Previously, we took it apart to find the cause of an engine intake and a source of aluminum shavings in the oil filter. And we did. The engine intake was caused by multiple failed rockers, and the source of the metal shavings were the worn hydraulic timing chain adjusters. So now, the first thing that we have to do is prepare it for assembly. As we see here, the engine is disassembled a lot. And we remove the valve cover, camshafts, and all these parts, mostly to replace these defect rockers. People who do this usually don't replace the lifters, that is, these things. But since we're all the way in here already, I thought, why not replace them? They're not too expensive, so let's do that as well. So now I'm just removing the old hydraulic lifters. To fix the engine of the S5, we need a big amount of good quality car parts. And if you are wondering where I buy my car parts from, well, it's Trotto. First of all, we need 24 new rockers. Then it's not really needed, but since we're all the way in the engine, we can replace the 24 hydraulic lifters. Then we also can replace the high pressure fuel pump, well, the bearing that spins on the camshaft. Then we also need gaskets, oil and filter. What I'm really fond of Trotto is that they have a large selection of car parts for almost any car on the road. And then it's Trotto's reliability. They sell genuine and quality tested car parts. And lastly, they're trusted by thousands of customers, so you have nothing to worry about when buying your parts at Trotto. So next time you do that, make sure to use code EMS1025 for 10% off your next order. Here we have some of the parts that we're gonna need to fix this car. New rocker arms. This is the upgraded version, and this is the old one that was in the car originally. We can see the big difference in the bearing itself, how much bigger the bearing is here. And of course, no play on the new one, and catastrophic play on the old one. 24 pieces of new hydraulic lifters. So this is the old one and this is the new one. This is the bearing for the high pressure fuel pump. Not really a common problem, but since it was so cheap, I decided to pick it up either way. And of course some gaskets and some other stuff. Before we install the lifters and the rockers, I want to soak them good in oil. So I'm gonna pack it up one by one and put it in this box and then dump a bunch of oil in it so it can sit for a bit. Make sure that they're all fully soaked. While the parts from Trotto is soaking in oil, we can spend a good old time cleaning and prepping all the surfaces for new gaskets and sealing. We're back. Probably a month since the last clip. I had everything closed up nicely so nothing falls into it. Now I've been just cleaning around a bit. All of this is like sealant embedded into these grooves. There's like small grooves here, so the sealant seals better. I tried to scrape away as much of it, but all this is just like into the metal. I know there exists these kind of drill attachments where you run it over the surface and it cleans it up completely and it doesn't take off material. If you guys know what it's called, let me know. So first thing to go back on are the rockers with the lifters. Well, of course, firstly the lifters, they're still soaking. Now we'll take one by one and install them. The rockers too. They do clip in place, so make sure they clipped in place and make sure that the tip is on the valve to make a satisfying clipping sound when they're on. Now I'm gonna do the other side real quick. Now this is the valve cover with the cams for the driver's side of the engine, so the left side. Now we'll replace these gaskets. So then it sits like that. Pull it through without damaging it. Since the gaskets are on, I'm gonna start applying sealant. And I'm just adding some oil to the lobes and stuff. Now this is the left valve cover, so the passenger side. Let's remove the old gasket. So both the valve covers are in place. The bolts, they're torqued to 10 Newton meters. Now we need to continue with the timing. If you watched the last episode, the camshaft adjusters are defect on this car. There were shavings in the engine, and the shavings were from the camshaft adjusters because they wear and they let out shavings. If you look at the edge of this sprocket, you can see there's chunks missing from it. Very hard to show on camera. And the shavings that we had in the engine were very small aluminum shavings, and this is made from aluminum. So this is kind of an Audi fault for using aluminum on sprockets that get turned by a steel chain. And new sprockets from Audi cost around 400 euros each, and you need 4 of them, and they will still be aluminum. So here we have the upgraded sprockets from Mehenker. Mehenker is a Polish car part manufacturer, and they make all these different kind of parts for many different cars: Bentleys, BMWs, Audis, and much more. They make timing chain kits, camshaft adjusters, van solenoids, and much more different parts. So here we have the camshaft adjusters that they make, and this is how they look. We already looked at them in the last episode, but I want to show you guys again. This is their upgraded camshaft adjusters. So we can see the sprocket itself is not made from aluminum, it's made from different material. And this is how it looks on this side. So this one is the exhaust side, 3-liter TFSI EA839, that's the engine, and this is the Mehenker part code. So we have 4 of them, and this is gonna hold for a longer time because it's not made from aluminum. This is not gonna wear and let out shavings. So this is gonna work flawlessly on this engine. So if you need these camshaft adjusters for your Audi or any different kind of other parts, make sure to check out their online shop. I'm gonna leave the link in the description, so go check it out and buy your upgraded parts there. And the good thing about these camshaft adjusters is that the original ones, they have to be aligned with some markings on the block. So here is an arrow, and you have to align it on the back side between 2 spots. However, Mehenker ones, they don't have any kind of markings, and you don't have to line them. The only thing you have to do is have the timing tool to have the camshafts in the correct position, as well as lock the crankshaft. So now we know everything is in time, so all we have to do is install them and torque the center bolt to 120 Newton meters. And that's it. Firstly, I will do this side. So the chain is loose and we have the tensioner compressed together and locked. So now the bottom camshaft is the intake. We take the one that says ein in. That means it's the intake. And at the same time, I'm gonna take the exhaust one and I will try to put them on at the same time. That's it, both of them are in. Make sure it's in the guide rail. I can show you guys this because it's very tight in here, but everything looks perfect here right now. By the way, I'm also gonna install the new high pressure fuel pump in this wheel, because if not, I'm gonna probably forget it. It's in like that. Now we'll release the tensioner. I had it plugged up with a drill bit. Now the chains are tight. The way original camshafts are torqued is, this is the original camshaft adjuster, and you put the socket in like that, you counter hold it, and then you tighten the bolt through the middle. But Mehenker ones, you don't need to do that. The only thing you do is have the camshafts locked, crankshaft locked, tension released, and you take the camshaft adjuster bolts and you just torque them to 120 Newton meters, and that's it. So now I'm just putting some oil on the treads and putting the adjuster bolts in. And now I'll just torque it to 120 Newton meters. Now I'll try to remove the locking pin. I think I will apply the sealant onto the block because I will smear it everywhere if I do it on the cover itself. Now we have to somehow put it on nicely without touching it or touching too much sealant or anything. Wait. This is on. I still haven't put some screws there that holds the pipes and stuff because this is one long pipe, so I need to put that one on before I can put it in place. This one, there's a bunch of space here to just put it on nicely. I was gonna install the injectors right now, but the seals that I bought from Ayusa brand, the Teflon rings, they were so bad quality it was impossible to stretch it over the injector. It kept snapping. So I ordered the other ones. Now I need to wait, and in the meantime I'm just gonna assemble everything that I can. So for example, the high pressure fuel pump, then this, it will have to stay loose now for now because we need to put in the rail. Now I finally got the correct gasket, so now we can do the injectors. So first I will remove the top rubber seal. Then there's this plastic kind of gasket which I will remove. Then using a blade I will cut off the old Teflon seal and then just remove it like that. Then here are the new gaskets from L-Ring. Then I will take the Teflon seal and put it on the cone. Add some lubricant. Then I will stretch it all the way to the end. Like that. Now we can see this one stretches out perfectly. When I take the injector, I'll put the cone on the tip and I will pull the seal over to the injector. Just like that, and I will push it more down into the groove. Then there are these two cylinders that we use to compress the seal. Firstly, take the bigger one and try to work your way onto the seal. Just like that. At first it might be even too big for this one, so then I just use 3 fingers and just kind of try to compress the seal. After you wiggle around a bit, remove it and take even the smaller one. Now it's on. Now I'll wait a bit. In the meantime, I'll put on this plastic seal like that, and then a rubber seal on top of it. I like to let it sit for a bit now. So in the meantime, I'll start doing the injectors on the other side, because on this side I already installed 2 of them, so the middle is left. Now after a while I will remove it. We can see how beautifully the seal is compressed, and immediately I'll put some lubricant on it and put it in as fast as possible. And it kind of slides in very tight. Now we'll do the other side real quick. All injectors are in. Now it's time for the rail. Then there's this big intercooler pipe. I put the pipes on. Now I drained the oil and I added 7.25 liters of 5W40. First I want to crank it to build oil pressure. That should be fine. Let's see what happens. Engine running good. This cover is a bit broken, but other than that, running super smooth. I checked, there's no oil leaks, no nothing. There was a coolant leak. And I also need a new sensor because sensor broke, but no more ticking sound. The ticking sound that is here right now is from the high pressure fuel pump, this thing, but no other unusual ticking sound right now. Now the car is good. There was an oil leak also that started not immediately after we finished the job, but after some time. It was on the driver's side cover on the back of the engine, the sprocket cover, so it was leaking oil there. So we resealed it. The driver's side one, well, the left side of the engine, that one is the easiest one, so I was kind of lucky there, because if it was the other side, that's way more tricky to do. So I managed to do it without basically removing anything. And now it's around probably 1,000 kilometers since the job, and the car is working good. The Mehenker sprocket's working flawlessly. The car has power, no faults, no engine light. You can see there is a triangle on the dash, but that's because the SOS system need to fix that. But other than that, perfect. Right now it's in comfort. Let's put it in dynamic. If you put it in dynamic, then the flaps open up on the exhaust. It has a bit more sound and it holds, well, the RPM's a bit higher, so it's more responsive. If I floor it now, it's more responsive. But yeah, this car is actually super fun to drive. Fast, it's not big, it sits very well on the road, it's very stable in corners. एक तो ना Black. So that is gonna be it for this video. If you want to support the channel and the builds, make sure to check out my Patreon. It's in the description, EMS Garage. And I hope to see you in the next one.